This machine behind me does not start. There was a small fire in the engine which I extinguished. Here's what it does now. Half turn, pumping fuel. You'll hear the solenoid click. Doesn't turn over. So I need to get in there and get that starter out. To get at it from this side, I'd have to pull the main computer out, which isn't a big deal. But then I'd also have the diesel particulate filter in the way and a bracket that it sits on. So I can't get it from here through the bottom belly pan. You're going to have to pull the bottom belly pan in order to access the lower bolt, which holds it to the crankcase. But then we're going to have to pull the radiator from the back. The first thing I'm going to do is pressure wash it. I'm going to use some Krug cutter. I just want to get some of the schmutz off. It's apparently never been cleaned. I bought it from an auction. Okay, I washed some of it. Now I'm draining the coolant from this valve here. Lefty loosely. Almost got it all out. Before taking the radiator out, I've got to drain the hydraulic fluid. There's a plug underneath this left bumper here. And that's a 1 5/8 inch socket on that drain plug. I've got a small amount in this bucket. It looks like it's about 10 gallons. I've got this lifted up high enough that I could just fit a whole 5-gallon bucket in there, so I only had to switch a couple of times. Got a little nervous, went to the third bucket, but you could do it probably in 2 buckets. This was pretty full up on the sight glass. Where's my sight glass? On my sight glass, I was up to the top red line when I was operating it. The same thing over here, jacked up high enough that I could fit a bucket under there. You only need 1 5-gallon bucket to get all the coolant out. It's about 3 gallons of coolant. That's what was in mine. For the coolant lines, you got 1 up top, 2 down here. Those just come off with a screwdriver. And then I got hydraulic fluid here and here. Okay, got those 2 hoses off. You can see where I took them off. I used a crescent wrench, big crescent wrench, 15-inch crescent wrench, and a 4-foot bar. They are on there pretty tight, but that's what did it. Gonna let this drain out, and then I'll cover those holes so that we don't get contamination and carry on. Okay, so I just used a $2 paint drop cloth, sealed that up there. I just want to keep any dust or dirt, debris out of the hydraulic system. There's cotter pins that hold the hinges of this radiator down here and up here. The way I got this out was by working back and forth on a set of vice grips and pulling up. That released the bottom one. I'm going to try the top now. Okay, that worked. I got both of the hinges out, hinge pins out. I did secure it with the bolts on this side, and so I'll remove those bolts, and then this thing will probably fall right out on top of me. Okay, took the fan off. 4 bolts hold that on. A couple bolts hold the alternator on. I can just barely see in there. Right above my finger back there, that's the nut I think we need to get to. There is all sorts of stuff in the way here. I'm thinking that's where we need to go. So I'm going to take this bracket off. There's 2 bolts on the bottom and 2 on the top here. Then I can take that off, give myself some more room to reach an arm in there, because right now I just can't get in there. So I'll do that. Here's the bracket. Got that out of the way. I'm taping fasteners, or keeping them where they go. So finally I can get back in there and I can finally touch the nut I'm trying to get to. So I've made enough of a hole that I can get in there to get to that top nut there. There it is. I've got to get this ground strap off. There's a ground strap right there. It actually connects to the engine block. Got to get that ground strap out of the way, and then the wire for the starter is connected to the engine as well. There's a tie on it. Let's see if I can get under there to show you that. So there's the grounding strap. Grounding strap is this bolt right here has got to come off, and then this wire loom, there's a screw on the back of that I got to get off, and then right here, that's our starter. There's a nut. Come on, focus. I got this nut to take off right there. And then, God willing, it'll fit through this hole. I might have to push on this hydraulic fluid hose or get it out of the way somehow. I don't know. That's what we're trying to do. Gee, I sure wish it was on this side. Fucking wide open. Okay, so in order to get this off, I use a couple of wobble extensions and a 14 millimeter, and I think I just got it loose. I really had to pound the piss out of it with this impact hammer though. It's on there tight. Let's see. Yeah, okay. That nut just came falling down. I think that should free up the starter. Let's see if I can wiggle on it. Okay, yeah, that was it. It's loose, but now I gotta get it out, and so I gotta figure out how to pry it out and get it down out of here. I'll let you know how I do it, because it ain't gonna be easy. I think this wire's fighting me. Maybe I gotta get the wire off first in order to get this guy to kind of come down. I was hoping that I get it to come down and take the wire off it where I had some room. That doesn't look like that's gonna happen. Well, let's see. All right, I got it moving, but I gotta get, I think I gotta get this wire loom. There's a screw, a bolt, a screw right here, and then I can move that wire loom out of the way. This hose might need to come out of the way too, because this is gonna be like birthing a baby. I got just this right here in front of me. I might have to move this out of the way to get this thing to come out, because it ain't gonna go through the bottom. I already decided there's no room. It just don't fit. It's gotta come out through here. See, that's all you got. It's 3 fingers wide, and this starter is just a little bit bigger than that. I really wish they put it over there. Why not? That's stupid. The starter should be on the other side. Damn. Okay, here it comes. Holy smokes. So you can see I got some charred wire right there. I'm gonna have to fix that. And on the starter lead, there's some char in here that I'm gonna have to clean up. And this might just be the boot, but I gotta investigate, because it looks like the insulator might have been charred too. Let's see. Okay, so I got it out. You can see these clip onto these like this. And I didn't take a picture of this, but anyway, they go on here, each of these, and I just unhooked them and pulled them out of the way. Here's 2 more. That gave me some room So I got 4 plugs there, and here's the other 2. Okay, I got them all accounted for. I gotta get this over and test it. Okay, I'm gonna try to test this. I've got it hooked up to a 12-volt battery jumper here. So it's pulling power, but it's not spinning. Okay, so that's good. I've figured out that it is a starter motor. So all that work wasn't for nothing, and so I'll just replace this motor and we'll hopefully have a running skid steer. And here's the part number off this motor. It's a Mitsubishi M008T50673. Okay, it's about a week later. We're getting back into this. Of course, it's raining. Part number is 1G77763011, and it's got a lot of other part numbers for it. You do your research, you'll figure out. This was 240 bucks. It's off Amazon, but it's a WAI, which means it's a remanufactured starter motor. Some of the other starter motors I looked at weren't right, and when they showed up, they didn't have the right flange pattern. So be careful of that. But I'm just going to go ahead and start hooking this back up. It's got to go back in there. What can I say about this? I got to get the electronics back out of the way. I did hook them up so that they wouldn't get water in them while it was sitting. Sat for about a week. And then I guess I got to crawl underneath there and start getting dirty. I think I'm going to replace the battery while I'm at it. It says 2020. Okay, I'm going to test this motor here. This is the old one. And I'm just hooked up right to the battery. Now let's go ahead and give the new one a test here before we go through the trouble of installing it. Works good. Alright, so something I didn't notice until I went to hook this up. The old one had this style connector, and this one's got a post. So what I gotta do is hook up one of these things, one of these spade connectors. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we got that on there. Now it's on there pretty good. That should give us a decent connection. Alright, good. I hate these connectors, but alright. We're going to use it. Okay, what I gotta do now is try to get that starter up on that stud, and I can't see it. Am I close? No, I don't think so. I can't get a good grip on it when I'm up above there. I don't think it's even close. Well, no. Am I close? I can't even fucking tell. Oh, I gotta turn it counterclockwise to pick it back up in there. Alright, I gotta get you out of the way. I think I got it in there. It's on the stud at least. Now we gotta go underneath. Maybe I should thread that. No, fuck, come on. It's on the stud. Feels like it's home. Hard to tell. Can you see it? See it on that stud there? I think I should thread a nut on there. See if I can get it. Using a wobble extension. Can't see real good. Oh fuck, I just dropped it. That's gonna be tough. I'll bring you back when I got it. Okay, so I got it started by just threading this whole, I don't know, 36 inches of extension in there. 2 wobble sockets and a U-joint. There we go. Now we're snug, finger tight. Let's go underneath and see if we can get our stud in there, which is also a 14. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, I got it started. It's threading right in. I think we got it in the right spot. Now we gotta get this tight, and it was tighter than a bastard when I took it off. And we gotta do our electrical connections, and I think I'm gonna replace the battery, and we'll test it before we get it all buttoned up here. We'll just bump it over. Okay, now let's get to the wires. This end goes to the alternator. Of course, this goes to the starter, and this is going to these plugs that we got to hang back up here. Let's see. That post has got to be right there somewhere. As we add pieces to this, it gets harder to see, tell what I'm doing. Okay, I think I got it. I don't know. The spade connector might not have been the brightest idea. Yeah, it's like loose. That's not going to stay on there like that. Try again. Okay, I got the wiring back together here. I got the ground strap back on underneath. I'm just going to bump it over. Just going to bump it over. I'm not going to do more than that. I just need to see, make sure that it's going to crank this engine. There we go. Okay, great. We're in business. Awesome. Fantastic. Let's get this buttoned up. Okay, next thing is this has got to go back in there. Then we got to do the alternator, fan belt, fan shroud, and then finally radiator goes back into it. I was thinking about doing the battery. I don't know how to get to it. It's tight. Maybe if I take this out, I can rotate it enough. Jesus, there's a lot of mud and shit in here too. I really should pull this battery, huh? Fuck. Alright. Okay, we're looking good. We got the fan on there. Alternator. Our belt's good and tight. Hopefully not too tight. I did break off the beat. Got to be careful with this little nut because I broke off the end of this glow plug, and I'll have to replace this glow plug. I think it's time for the radiator and the fan shroud. Before the radiator, the fan shroud. So we'll do that and get this finished. The very last thing I've got to do is lift this radiator back in here. It is very heavy. Getting the pins back in is going to be tough. I'll wrestle with this and bring it back when it's hooked up. Okay, so that's back. Okay, so that's back in there. I got the pins in. That was a little tough. Got to get it up on the hinges. I started the top pin and then I wiggled it kind of in this direction by pushing down on this, which wiggled it just enough to get the bottom pin started, and then I kind of beat on them with the hammer and beat on them with the wrench and wiggled the radiator around, and they finally settled. So we got 2 hydraulic connections to do, and then we got the drain at the top, the drain at the bottom, and then our 2 regular in and out connections. And then I think we're going to be ready to put coolant in it and put hydraulic fluid in it and get moving. Okay, I'm doing fluids. I got this OAT formula. It's the only one that's J1034 and J184, or J814 and J1034. And this is concentrated, so I'm pouring it in 50-50 with water as I go, just kind of mixing them in the funnel. And if this ends up being the wrong one, I guess I'll have to come back and update this video. But the OAT lasts longer, so I'll figure throw that in there. And yeah, we'll see. Okay, I topped off the hydraulic fluid with, it took about 7.5 gallons of ISO 46 and 10W30. It might have been more like 8 gallons. Book says 10. Starts right up. We're back in business. Okay, so let's wrap this up.